Right, if you like Stasis and you really enjoy running Outbreak Perfected, I'm going to show you this little combo that's going to improve your life and improve your damage by about 50%. Really cheeky little combo, and it's a massive damage increase. I've got some clips to show you of it working, but I just want to sort of briefly explain what it is. It's this fragment here. It's called Whisper of Rending. Now, it states here, kinetic weapons do increase damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets. But it's a little bit confusing. I've run it for like 3 or 4 seasons, like on and off, and what it doesn't tell you there is it doesn't tell you it will not work with weapons that have a burn on them. So it works really nice with Outbreak Perfected because it doesn't have a burn on it, and things like Ostringer and Hawkmoon. But if that, or even like DFA, but if it's got like a burn on it, like this Persis D, the scout rifle for example, it's got a stasis on it, or if you've got some of osmosis on as well, it doesn't tend to work with it. So as long as the weapon takes kinetic ammo, i.e. Outbreak Hawkmoon, it's going to improve that damage by 50% as long as that target is frozen. And why I've decided to choose Outbreak, again it's something I've run for quite a few seasons, is because the gun itself really suits it, because what it does is this weapon does more damage to enemies based on the number of Siva nanites that are attached to them. So you're getting quite a good damage buff anyway from the Outbreak Perfected if you just keep it in the target. And then obviously you've got the catalyst as well, increased nanite damage. Enemies that die with nanites attached to them generate additional enemies. So as long as you freeze the target, you're going to get a massive damage increase of 50%. I mean, it's just a free damage increase in my book. I've got some clips to show you. So here's the first sort of few clips. Just pay attention to the first number, 1593. There's nothing going on here. I've not frozen the enemy, so the Whisper of Rending hasn't kicked in. So the 1593 was the first shot, and then the Outbreak Perfected, you're going to see the numbers go up because of the way the gun acts. It does more damage the more nanites you attach to that target. So 1593 was the very first sort of shot that you're getting without the enemy being frozen, and obviously the numbers are going up from the Outbreak Perfected gun. Now I'm going to add Whisper of Rending into the equation. I'm just going to freeze the enemy and watch the numbers. 2383. There's nothing else going on, all I'm doing is freezing the enemy. 2383. So it's a really easy damage buff, and it's quite a significant damage buff, a good 50%. Like I said, with Outbreak, it's really good with Outbreak just because of the way the gun acts. So you do more damage the more you attach, and it all works together. You do more damage than you would normally just by freezing the target. So it's pretty solid, and it's also sort of pretty useful in certain situations. It's obviously you're not going to do DPS with it like as a main source of DPS, but it's really useful if you're on a stasis subclass and you might be in situations where you've run out of heavy and you've run out of special ammo and it's the only thing you've got left. Stick a stasis turret or a freezy turret or whatever, freeze that enemy, and you're going to do an extra 50% damage. Now the other weapon that I mentioned briefly was Hawkmoon. Now Hawkmoon's a really interesting weapon because you do extra damage with that one by the amount of precision hits you get. It stacks up to a ×7, and that's on its own that's quite a good damage buff. I'm going to show you some clips of that working. You're going to see on the bottom left I'm going to be ×7 paracausal charge, and you're going to see a number, I think it's like 102k once I've got the ×7. So that's quite a decent damage buff anyway with Hawkmoon, but I'm going to freeze it, ×7 again. Now I froze it, you see 146, so it's quite a decent damage buff with Hawkmoon as well. So it's a really good choice of fragment to use on your stasis subclass, Whisper of Rending. I hope you found this video helpful, maybe incorporating some builds. Have a great day.